least go deep into games. Do you have to maybe not adjust that mentality, but the reality, is there a reality that has to be adjusted where you maybe you back off a little bit?
I think that, like I've always said, it's a matter of where you back off. And, for me, there's, I don't like to back off. I would rather alter. And I think we've altered things to where I feel that I can go out and throw 120 pitches and feel fine. And that being said, the things in between you monitor, the work days in between you monitor, and we've got a lot of different input on, how do we take the stress off the lower back in between days, because I've done a lot of running in the past, a lot of other things, so we've been able to kind of change those programs to where it takes a lot of the stress off, and I actually feel, I don't feel like I'm wearing those other parts down while my arm's rebuilding, so it's a good thing.
Do you not run at all anymore?
No, I still run, but the length, the biggest thing is the length of it. Instead of going out and running for half hour straight, we'll do intervals, we'll do shorter, like I said, more sports specific, higher intensity, shorter distance. I think that takes, for me at least this winter, it's alleviated a lot of the stress, all throughout the joints, ankles, knees, back, everything. So, there's still a lot of running involved, but it's, different types of running. I think just the pounding of going out and running for half hour, 40 minutes, takes its toll.
Did last year shock you? Did it make you think about your mortality or how much longer you'll be able to do this?
No, I think any player, would honestly tell you, you never know, Every year you come in to spring training and you come in hoping that you're going to feel good and be able to pick up where you left off. There's no guarantees. I don't think there's, any player who's been doing it for a long time, I don't think they go in every season knowing that I'm just going to pick up where I was. There's no guarantees, and I knew that, and I've known that my whole career. I felt like ever since, I got sent back to A-ball, I realized real quickly how fast things can change in this game. And so I've always been aware of that, and I've always realized that, things can change quickly. And I think that, to me, has been that motivates you to, one, to continue to work hard, but two, to continue to try and find better ways to do things and ways to extend that success. So, it's a constant battle to try and extend that. But, no, I mean, I got my wake-up call a long time ago. So, it's always a battle of trying to stay ahead of the curve.
How would you describe the off-season? Concern, determination, anxiety?
No, actually, I think that, once we sat down, and it really started at the end of last season. I started sitting down with the trainers, with the strength coaches, different doctors, and coming up with a game plan. And I knew what the issues were. It was just a matter of how do I solve them. And so really, I felt like I felt like I had a plan, and I think more than anything that builds confidence. When you feel like you have an approach, a plan, a way of attacking something, then your confidence is going to grow. So I felt good about what we were doing. Whether or not it was going to work, there was always that little bit of a question. But once we started getting into it and started seeing the results and started feeling different, then I felt like we were on the right track, and that confidence in what we were doing, continue to grow.
Did any doubt or thought enter your mind last year, kind of going back to what Jason was talking about, of just, there's a lot of miles on this arm, I'm turning 36 in May, that this could be just kind of the way it's catching up to you?
No, I mean, every year you go in, you realize you're a little older, you're a little slower, the game's getting quicker, guys are getting younger. And I've always, I felt very fortunate to play as long as I played, and you don't take days for granted here. I don't think anybody does. You know, I've never really looked at it that way. You know, I don't look at it as, you know, what if the better days are behind me? I've never kind of taken that mentality. For me, it's more, you know, you're always trying to look forward. You're always looking what's in front of you, what's ahead of you, and trying to embrace that. You know, there's going to be a day when what's ahead of me isn't baseball, and I'm going to embrace that. But you know, until you get to that point, you do everything you can to continue to adjust and you know, do what you love.
You've always been known as a routine-oriented guy, so all of these changes, from a mental and physical standpoint, what was that challenge like for you making all those changes?
Well, I think more it was just getting the information and figuring out how to incorporate all of it. You know, for me, it works great because, you know, once I have something written down that I can follow, you know, that's the easy part for me. The hard part is coming up with the ways to accomplish the task. You know, once you come up with that plan and you start putting it into play, then that becomes the easy part and the fun part. So I felt like once that we addressed a lot of that stuff at the end of last season, sat down, came up with a plan, you know, to me at that point a lot of the stress had kind of been relieved, and it was more, you know, getting into it and doing it. So, you know, for that, I don't mind change. You know, I don't mind doing different things, but for me, it's always been, you know, what you put into it is what you get out of it, and that's kind of always the way I've looked at it. It's not so much a routine as I have to do this and this and this. You know, I want to make sure that I'm putting everything into it that I can to get the most out of it, and you know, that's kind of the way I've looked at it. So I've never been afraid of doing things differently. It's just a matter of making sure what I'm putting in is the right stuff.
Did you ever get
You
a?
said that 120 pitches is what you think you can still throw, and obviously that's what you want to do if you're in the game. You're getting older. You acknowledge that. Do you worry about this as really a contract year, throwing too much and then getting?
No, I don't. I'm playing to win a World Series. You know, that's why I'm playing baseball, for no other reason, period. So, however we get to that goal, you know, to me that's the bottom line. If it takes, you know, 320 innings and I can throw that many, I'm going to throw it. But you know, that's the reason I'm here, and you know, that's, for me, that's it. I'm not worried about next year. I'm not worried about, you know, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. I'm worried about trying to win a World Series.
Did you have any dialogue with the Phillies at all about trying to stay here beyond this year?
I haven't. You know, I think all our dialogue right now has been, you know, how do we get things going in the right direction? And really, that was my concern. I know that was their concern. And you know, I'm not at all worried about next season. I really am not. And you know, I'm worried about, you know, this year, making the most of this year, and then, you know, you go from there. But there's been no dialogue. I don't expect there to be dialogue. You know, I expect to prepare, go out and do my job, and let everything else take care of itself.
Roy, you and several others are in the last year of the deal, and this group is getting a little older, and there's teams now that, you know, the Nationals took away the division. Is there more of a sense of urgency because of the contract situations and the age about this year?
I think there's always urgency. You know, I don't think anybody who wants, you know, goes into a season and says, well, you know, maybe we should win it 3 years from now. I think you want it, you know, you want to win it now. And I think you have to have that mentality regardless of your age. Obviously, the opportunities become less and less the older you get. But, you know, I think the urgency is always the same. You know, you want to win that year, and that's what counts. That's what matters. So, you know, I hope we have that urgency. I don't think there's anybody in there that's thinking, you know, I got 2 or 3 years left to do this, so there's, you know, I got time. I think we all want to do it now. So, you know, hopefully that's a goal. But, you know, I think all the guys who are getting older realize you're getting less chances to do it. So, but I would think the urgency would still be the same.
Roy, did you and Chris Carpenter go on your annual fishing
Yeah.
trip this year? And when was that? And what was both of your mindsets then? Did you talk at all about the future?
We went early December, and yeah, I mean, we both talked about it. You know, he talked about how he had been feeling, and you know, talked about some of the stuff I went through, and you know, we really kind of had both had the same mindset that, you know, I know when he came back and he played for St. Louis, you know, he thought he was done when he had the surgery in Toronto. He didn't know that he was going to play again. So the 5 years he got there, I think, was a blessing for him. And I think he never took that for granted. And I think he was satisfied with what he put into the game. And you know, I feel the same way. You never know when it's going to go away, but you don't want to have that regret that, man, I wasted, you know, this year or whatever. You know, I think that's the biggest thing for both of us was, you know, neither of us knew when it was going to, you know, when it may end for either of us. But, you know, the big thing is, you know, we talked a lot about doing things the right way and having no regrets. And I know he has none and I have none. And hopefully, you know, I don't, you know, I'm not sitting here, you know, anytime soon saying I'm done playing. But you know, I think that's a big thing in this game is, you know, you never want to look back and wish you would have done something different.
Well, last year, when you gave health updates, and you're always very generous with your time in doing that, you spoke about the shoulder a couple times, you spoke about the lat. You never spoke about the lower back. Is there a reason you didn't disclose that at the time?
Well, I really didn't, I didn't know what it was, you know, and really going back, you know, we were talking about it and looking at video and stuff, and you know, I felt that tightness, I felt that stiffness, a lack of mobility, but you know, it's just when you're looking at video, you're looking at arm slots, you're looking at, you know, different things, and you know, you don't sometimes look all the way down the chain, and so I knew that, you know, that wasn't completely right, but I felt like we were doing the normal things that we do to get it right. And I've had, you know, issues in the past where it would last, you know, a week or 2 weeks or whatever, but for whatever reason, it just never seemed to dissipate. So for that reason, it became a priority at the end of the season.
Are you doing any yoga or anything like that?
No, it's more, you know, a lot of, they have a program called the Watkins program that we started out, and it's all back generated stuff. And really going from there, we started just more mobile, you know, med ball throws, you know, instead of, you know, going in and doing regular sit-ups and you know, back extensions and stuff like that. It's more rotational, more functional, more loading, unloading type of stuff. So to me, it's just more specific to pitching than, you know, maybe just going in and doing a regular back program or a regular core program that, you know, you may be doing to, you know, look in the mirror.
Can I ask you one more about your contract? You've always said that this was where you wanted to be. So could you envision yourself going through free agency? Could you envision yourself pitching somewhere else?
No, I really don't. You know, I think if I have my druthers, and I would be here, you know, until I'm done. And you know, as good as they've been to me, I think they realize I'd be as good as to them as I could be. So, you know, going forward, if that were the case, I really don't see myself playing anywhere else, and I don't want to play anywhere else. You know, I feel like you want to play somewhere as long as you can where you're wanted, and this has been the best place. Obviously, I've only played in Toronto, but I've gone on the road a lot of other places. Best place I've ever played, and you know, I don't want to play anywhere else.
Roy, you said that as the year went on, or as spring and then the year went on, things didn't get better. Did you know, even at this point last spring, that it was gonna, that it could be a challenge all along? Were you?
No,
already issues?
I was 100% confident that it was something that was, we were gonna be able to take care of and was gonna go away, and really didn't think it was gonna be a factor. But it just continued and continued and never went away, so, no, I really didn't. I felt like last year it was going to be something that was going to be easy to overcome, and it just didn't work out that way. You know, it almost worked the opposite for us. So, you know, I really do though. I'm in a lot better mindset right now than I was last year. Just knowing that we've done the right things, and I'm prepared for those little bumps in the road. So. I'm looking forward to it.
Roy, a lot of pitchers, when they get above 35, elite pitchers, the Maddoxes, the Smoltz, have talked about having to change their approach. Have you talked to anybody about that? And kind of your thoughts on how much, when you get to a certain age, you have to change maybe your pitch selection and all that?
Right, yeah, I've talked to a lot of people, and yeah, that's definitely the case. It's doesn't necessarily have to be adding a new pitch. Sometimes it may be the changeup. When I came over here, I'd never thrown a changeup, so adding a changeup was big for me. But yeah, you do have to change, whether it's pitch selection, what you throw in different counts. You go through a league a couple times, see teams, a couple times. All of a sudden, you do have to change things, and so I'm aware of that. I've talked to a lot of different people, got a lot of different ideas, and that's the best part about spring training is you can do different things, experiment a little bit, and while you're getting yourself ready. Of course, the main goal is to get yourself ready, but yeah, you have to continue to change, and anywhere that I feel like I can do something different to keep them off balance, I'm going to do it. I know Chase suggested drilling a few guys this year, so I might make that.